Hi guys, this is a bit of a casual video of me just showing you how I go about developing C64 Dev Machine. So it's made in Game Maker, as you can see there, and we've got our first bug that I need to now already deal with. I changed something last night and I've not safeguarded against this, so let's see. Not set before reading it, create event. Okay. So that's an easy one to fix. I took away the window size position saving because basically the window was sort of appearing in different places and it was saving and stuff like that. I thought it would be a good thing, but there was a little bit of an inconvenience. So I'm just going to take that out. Yeah, so that's that. We're not going to set the position or the size anymore. Okay, so it just means that when it starts, I think it's always going to be that small size. So I'm just going to make sure that it ends up full screen no matter what. Yeah. So I'm just going to do window set size, set full screen. True. Right. That should, yeah, so it goes full screen, and then if you do F11 to toggle that, that now doesn't work. So we don't want that. What we'll do is we'll set the window size. Oh, I've got a little offset bug now with this. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll do a display get width and get height, and that should then just work for any. I'm using a 4K monitor, so it should just work for any size. And that didn't work. And then just me check that works. Okay, so interesting. Display. Oh, that's get GUI. Get width. Never knew that existed until now. Oh, I just noticed a bug with my typo. Yeah. There we go. So that should be what you get when it starts. That way you can see the bar and everything. And F11, yeah, and drag it around, and it means it won't always, like, it won't be recorded where it was and all that stuff. I was trying to be clever, right? But that's that fixed now. So with that done, I'm just going to try and implement something a bit different. So with the print macro, you can choose where on the screen you want something to happen, right? Say row 4, column, right? Column 4, row 5, whatever, and you can say text here, right? And that uses up 23 bytes. It doesn't clear the screen, just does that, and we do an RTS to return to basic. So it's going to print text here. There we go, like so, and it put it right there. Right, and what I was thinking about, like, this completely overwrites the screen RAM. What I was thinking about was a little checkbox like pre-cache what's there, right? Pre-cache the information, or something to that effect. Now, if you've got a map set up, the thing with maps are they're only called once. So I can either have like a redraw map thing where it redraws the map after this. I don't know if this will work in runtime though, so I'm going to test that right now. So let's just make a character set, right? And I'll just, I don't do my little platformy things like that. So that's going to be A, B, C, right? If I type A, B, C, I'll see these. I'm going to switch to this, right? It's saying something's in 2000. Yeah, the macro print's in 2000. We can move the information for this to 3000. Right, there's no conflict now. There's no map yet, and no character set assigned. So it's assign a character set, right? And it means now the whole font's going to change to a character set. So we'll probably see nothing unless it's an A, B, or C. So if I do A, B, C, A, B, C, we'll get two of those little platforms. All right. There's no map, so it might crash. No, it just it was fine. Right, let's get rid of that. We don't need the map just now anyway. There's no map. Right, there we go. So there's our ABC, ABC, and then all the A's and B's and C's that were used already. Right, that's just, you know, READY. And if we type ABC, 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 right. Now, what I was thinking there was if I do have a map, let's add a map, and I'll create one, and it's just a single screen's worth, so that's fine. Pick the character set, and let's do just something really basic, right? Control select shift color only, right? I'll do these green little platforms, copy and store that as a little tile. And let's just say this was my map there. Right. Right. Just this silly little platformy thing, could be like Joust or whatever, right? So close that and bring in this and pick the map. Now you should be able to do a one call update to the map, I think. I've not tried this yet. And I should be able to do a print after the fact. So if I did this, I should do the character set map and then print these. There we go, right? And I can still type stuff, right? That's all good. So I can essentially then pipe variables into these and move stuff. That's kind of what I want. And then if I wanted to refresh the map, I would call it again. So let me think about this. So 4 and 5. So let me just put a whole bunch of stuff around here. I just want to see that. I just want to test if I can get these back if I was to call the map again. Right. Let's just put a whole bunch of stuff where I've printed. Right. So if I did that, obviously this is going to be done after this. Right. And I get that. Now if I do this way, the map is going to be done after, right? But that map is 206 bytes just to call the map data back. So I'm thinking, is there a way for me to cache the little bit of data that I need wherever I'm printing this stuff and say, right, just cache that from the map, print what I need to print on top of it, right? Pre-cache it, and then I don't know, somehow restore it, or can I do like a quick restore or something combined with these? That's kind of what I want to do. So let's say, I'm trying to think. Yeah, let's say I did a little game loop, joystick right, and then I jump back to there, right? So if I push right, I'll go into a little continuation of the code there. Let's say right, and then what I would be doing, but I'll need to turn this into something a bit more convenient is moving this along to 5, right? And just for talking sake, I'll change it to purple, right? That should be ABC. Right, you can animate that way as well. You can do A, B, B, B. Like if you've got a kind of character, what do you call it? A player made of characters. If that makes any sense. So we push right, yeah, and we jump back to target. So that is just gonna move. It's just gonna move that text to the right and change it to purple, and that will just happen one off, right? But I'll lose a bit of the map behind it, right? Or it will trail. It will leave itself behind, right? So if I press right, that's right. I didn't actually see it doing. Let me just check that. Oh, we've got the RTS in there. Right. There we go. Right, so it trailed behind and never restored the map. So in order to restore the map, which would be sillily expensive, would be to do something like that, I think. I don't know if it will like being here. Yeah, look, it's kind of, now it's fighting between storing the map and placing the print. So it's doing that all the time. So it should only do like a one-shot call of that. So it's what I'm trying to get at is I want to combine this into one sort of dynamic printing feature where it takes a sample of the map of where it was or something like that, or whatever blocks are going to be affected on the map, and stores them. Then you move the character, and then it would sort of restore what it needs. I need to think about it a bit more on paper before I commit to it, because obviously you don't want to have that happen where it's constantly like writing to them. Yeah, and even if I was to move this here, that's now drawing the map every cycle, which is, I guess, expensive. And see, it's also restoring it. We get little glitches as well because of the lack of a V weight. If I put a V weight in just for experimenting, either put it there or there. I don't think it'll matter too much. I like to sort of move the V weight about just to see where it sits better. Right, that's a good way of alternating between colours actually. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen some games where they change between two colours and they kind of get this new colour. So that's quite a fun experiment, and you can always like try different colours for that matter. Like if you wanted a kind of bright green or something, but not the brightest green, then you can flip between two colours. So if I push right, I get this little intermediate green. You need to be going really fast. If you really wanted to see that, yeah, it doesn't matter if you change that to 100, 200, but we have to run at 100% anyway, so it's just a silly experiment there. So that's what I'm going to work on, is something that will accept parameters or variables in there, so that you just have to change the variable. Yeah, it will be a different kind of print. It's going to be called Dynaprint, and it would sample a bit of the map that it's going to affect so that it can be restored. And again, I just need to think about how that works, because it's trailing itself behind. So it just has to like restore the map, maybe where it was, for whatever difference in tiles there is. Yeah, I'll think about it some more. So I'm going to work on that. And the other thing I want to work on is the meta tiles idea, where you can populate all your meta tiles up here, but then there'll be a switch at some sense, switch to meta mode, right? And meta mode would clear your map. It would be a different map system. It would make up a new map called a meta map. and you would come in here, and it would essentially be like a cleared version of this. I still need to make it so that it clears as big as the stamp. That's another thing that I can add today. So it just means that you're locked into using whatever little tile sets you've made up there, and your map is built that way. And what it will do is it will store the X and Y position and the meta tile ID, and that's what it would store. And then what it will do is it will load in all the meta information, because these can be different sizes. It will load all that in, and it would just, like, you know, say, right, meta tile 1 here, meta tile, and, you know, and it would be like a lookup table, and it would be drawn in the same sort of order. So you would end up with a meta tile list, and you can maybe move things forward and back so that things can be foreground, background. So that's what I'm going to work on today, and I'll catch you in the next update with all that stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye.